Hi guys, we are planning to rip this last piece of carpet in our house, so thought of sharing this experience with you. So not much of lot videos are out there which talks about the veneer cover installation for open-ended stairs. I'm going to do it more cost-effective way as much as possible, and I'm going to make it dust free as much as possible. So I'm going to use more hand tools than the power tools, and if I need any power tool, I'm going to do it in garage so that my house doesn't get all dusty with this installation. The first step is I had to take out the existing balusters and the filler material, as you can see on the first here. And the only tools you would need is the 1-inch putty knife to pry these filler materials off. They are very thin materials, so you have to be little gentle when you pry them off. And one key tip is make a note of the numbers in the sequence you are taking them off so that you can put them back on. And similarly goes for the balusters. So the thing which I had used, I used a little bit of cushioning so that this piece doesn't get damaged, and then I had a scrap piece of wood which I used as a leverage like this, and then hit it with a mallet so that it will come off like this, and then you just have to gently pry this off and then rotate, and so it comes off from this hole like this. Next, I'm going to rip this carpet off and the tack strips and all. And in the following video, I'm going to talk about the material which I'm going to use as a veneer cover, both the stair treads and risers. So meanwhile, I prepare and rip this carpet off. I'll show you the material. Here is the stair riser and treads and the corresponding returns which I'm going to put on the stairs. It's an open-ended stair, so I would need a stair return. So here you can see it's a matching one from the overhauss, which matches the corresponding profile you have on the stair treads, as you see here. So specifically these stair risers and treads are from Oberhaus, and they are the oak veneer one. I got them from Rona. They are the most cost-effective one as of now. I think Rona, Lowe's and Home Depot, each one have their own brands for these kind of covers, stair risers and treads, but I think this one is the most cost effective. They come around, the whole set would come for around $28 or so. I want to mention one thing, that if you have an option, do cut these pieces fit to the size before you put any coat on. But since I'm going to do it in bits and pieces, and since it is a main stairways, I didn't want it to rip the carpet off, so I'm going to cut them to the size now and do the second coat on after that. So just keep that in mind, that if you do both the coats with the properly cut pieces, would be nice. Here are the tools which I have used to take these balusters off, and which I'm going to use to rip this carpet and take the tack strips out, and also to cut these overhangs I have on the staircase. So here is a utility knife, and this is the putty knife which I use to pry off the filler materials. I had these are the ones which came off, and then this is just a regular drywall saw. These are just a spare knife pieces, and this is a cold chisel which I might use as a leverage when I'm taking these overhangs out. These are wooden chisels, and this is just a pry bar which I'm going to use the nails, take the nails off, another plier which I will use to pull the nails out, rubber mallet, and for safety the rubber gloves. To take the carpet out, you just make an incision using this utility knife, and then just use the leverage of a pry bar to rip the carpet like this. Be careful that they might have a tricky tack strips underneath, so use as much leverage for this from the pry bar. So this is what I have underneath after I took the first piece of carpet out. I had to use the pry bar and the plier to pull the carpets out because I didn't want it to handle it with the hands. So because of these pricky nails, I'm going to take out these tack strips and just one key tip: when you're pulling the carpet out, leave some of the foams there so that you know where the staples are, so you can pull them off easily and don't miss them. And don't be surprised to see the dust underneath. And next I think this piece is going to be the first riser piece. This is going to be complicated for me. I'll have to figure out what I have to do as I go. I'll show you what I find underneath that. Again, you can break this piece off if you're not able to pull this cleanly, and take the nails out later, but be careful because it will have the small nails. So here is the first riser I started taking off. Here is the complicated part I was talking about. So I had to pull this off. So if you can see from here, I'll have to work on this gap when I'm putting the riser on. So I'll show you when I get to it. Here is after taking the carpet and the cushion out. So I measured my riser's width is almost same as the overhang I have in front. So I can transfer these holes without cutting this overhang. So I'll show you how to transfer this. I'm planning to paint something there on the thread so that the wet mark gets transferred on this back side so that I can cut a hole there. But before that, I ran into an issue. This overhang I have on the side, this is where this the return is going to go. So this has to be flush with this wall. And the other thing is the width of this thread it's the maximum one, like 42 inch which we get from Rona. It's not enough for my stair. You can see there is a gap there. So I'm planning to put, I think, some kind of edging or something. I'll see how I'm going to do that. So I have cut the overhang in the front and on the side. The side one, if you can make it flush with your wall, would be good. This would be the toughest piece to cut. So I think you'll have to use some kind of power tool. Hand tool might not work here. And this overhang doesn't have to be perfect. As soon as it is either flush with your riser or it is behind your riser, it should be okay. And I'm using the acrylic paint to transfer these holes on the stair threads. So here is one example where I have just used the acrylic paint to transfer this and then cut the hole using the drill. Two quick tips not to forget are to write down the numbers of the stair threads and risers when you're going and cutting them to the size. Especially on the risers, also put the direction as upwards wherever you're making the cut, because that cut is going to be rough and it can be hidden behind this profile. And another tip when you're transferring the hole is when you start making the hole using your paint as a guidance from the behind, as soon as it pokes the hole in front, switch the side and start cutting the hole from here. Otherwise it will splinter because it's a veneer. So that's a quick tip. For the side gap, I got the two trim pieces, one thick like this and one little bit smaller, and I have nailed them and painted them on the side. So I'm now ready to glue down the stair tread and risers. So this is after gluing down the riser and the tread with construction adhesive, and I have also glued down and nailed the returns together. These returns and the riser, they come with this connector which is of the shape. So the thread has a groove which one end of this thing goes inside the thread and one end goes in the return. So I have used the glue for the added strength, and I have nailed these returns with this and the wood underneath that. So I'm pending with these vertical returns. So I have cut these trims to the sizes which I'm going to glue and nail together here. Now finally I want to talk about this piece, the top piece here, which was a little complicated for me. So what I have used is this. This is a PVC trim I had got from Home Depot, and this is a quarter round, so just to hide this section here, which was an overhang which I couldn't cut because on my upper stair, or this floor is basically tile, so I couldn't cut this. I think this is a nosing which comes with the tiles. For the side, I have used the wider piece of PVC, and I have just filed it according to the shape here, and the gaps I'm going to use the molding or probably silicone caulking, so that these gaps would not be visible, and I'm just going to give a coat of paint here. Here is the final stair after installing the baluster and the filler pieces on the top. One quick tip before you paint your balusters: cut them to the size and dry fit them on top of the cover, the tread covers you have, because the thickness you'll be cutting from the top and depends on the thickness of your cover. So that's my take on the installation of the stairs. This may not be the correct way or perfect way to do it, but let me know if you have any questions. I'll be more than willing to answer them. Take care.